Hey everyone, I'm Sherry, mother-daughter Stampin', and today I have another card. I love this card. It's kind of a win-win-win for me because it's got three things. It's got two techniques. Well, actually it's got more than that, but we're only going to go over two. It has the Emboss Resist with direct to paper technique, which is our background right here. And it has cracked glass technique, which is really cool. It's on this stopwatch. And let me try to bring it up closer to the camera so you can see it. It's actually cracked, and then we sponged over it to kind of get it a little dark color so it would show up a little bit better. I hope you can see that. And this background is really cool too. And the third thing is it's a masculine card. I love the stamp set. Just about everything, it's Clockworks. Everything I used is on here. Let's get started with the first technique, which we're going to do the direct to paper technique, Emboss Resist. You're going to need VersaMark. And we're going to do some embossing first, some clear embossing. So we've got these two things from our stamp set, and we're going to go ahead and stamp that in VersaMark. We're going to stamp it on here just randomly, but first I'm going to use the Embossing Buddy. This thing is very inexpensive to get, and it really is worth getting because it takes all the moisture from your fingerprints or whatever. So you only want embossed what you stamp on there to be embossed. You don't want other specks on there, so that helps to prevent that. Okay, we're just going to take this stamp or ink it up and just randomly stamp this. And you can stamp off of it a little bit. Okay, you probably can't see that too well right now, but to save some time on the video, I already did one ahead of time, and that one is right here. And all I did was put clear embossing powder on it and use our heat gun. And if you can kind of see that, you can see it a little bit shiny maybe, but it'll really show up when we do the direct to paper technique. Now, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to start out with a lighter color. Just open it up, and you just take this directly to your ink. In different spots, you can see where it's just randomly stamp it. Now this is one of the newer Stampin' Up! Ink pads, and it's real juicy and it's easy to get it on here. Whereas the next one is the older one, and it's a little bit different. Okay, the next one, Night and Navy. And this is one of the older pads. It's just, it still works. It'll work fine for this. You just push this on here. As you can see, it's not quite as juicy as the other one, but it works for what we're using right now. Any ones that you would get now would be the new stamping pads. And we got one more color, and that one is going to be Gumball Green. And just try to fill in the rest of the area so it's all covered with ink. There you go. Now, one other thing that you can do with this is take a Kleenex and wipe this off, get any excess ink that's sitting on top of the embossing. And just simply wipe it off. Pretty neat technique, I like that. We're going to go even a little bit further with it. I am going to use Stampin' Up! Gold embossing powder. and the VersaMark ink again, and we're going to do the same thing where we do direct to paper. Alright, here's Stampin' Up! Gold embossing, and we're going to actually work with it. This is just a scrap piece of paper. It'll just make it easier to put it back in this container. So here's your VersaMark, and all you're going to do is go direct to it, just randomly in different spots. And this is where you're going to emboss the gold. So you just want the edges. You don't want to cover it completely, or you'll cover up all your design from before. So let's take our gold and sprinkle it on. Hitting the back of that, trying to get any excess off. Take your heat gun. Alright. And there's your background. Now let's work on this watch. What I did ahead of time was stamp the face of my clock, and then I embossed it. I used the VersaMark again, put it in clear embossing powder, and then use the heat gun, and I did this 3 times. We're going to do it one more time just to show you. Let's heat it up a little bit so it'll take on the other coat of VersaMark, or I'm sorry, embossing powder, clear embossing powder. Emboss it one more time. Now I'll be right back. I'm going to go and put it in the freezer for a little while till it gets good and hard, and then I'm going to show you what we do next. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, and I just took this out of the freezer. Now what we're going to do, we've had several layers on here. We're going to take it and we're going to just bend it till you hear it cracking. Hence the cracked glass technique. You hear that? Of course, the thicker the layer, that's probably where it's going to crack the easiest. But it is cracking. Let me try to bring it up closer. I don't know if you can see it or not. But now we're going to take a sponge, and we're going to take soft suede, and we're just going to sponge around it, trying to bring out the cracks a little bit more so you can see them better. It just kind of antiques it, vintage-like. So basically, I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but there are several cracks all along there. So what you're going to do then, here's a stopwatch that I have already stamped, and you're going to glue that, just your regular glue. Put it right down in the middle of your stopwatch. You have your base, which I have stamped color on color with the background from the Clockworks, and just stamped randomly, if you can see that. Then you're going to glue this on here, and I have already stamped the happy birthday on here, and this is going to be glued down. You're going to take this, and I use dimensionals. I like dimensionals, gives it more 3D effect. You're going to put that to that, and dimensionals again onto here. And your card's done. It's fun. It was cool. I really enjoyed it. I'm really happy with it. Don't always happen, but this is neat. And this technique works so well with this stamp set, I think. I love it. Anyway, try it out, see what you think, and please come back. I enjoy having you here. Bye.